Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Welcome to BGP. Today we will be discussing two dating scenarios. The first one I am going to speak on. I'm going to read it first. So, two people decide to go out on a date. They decide to go have dinner at a certain restaurant. We don't need to name the restaurant, right? It seemed like the date went well. They enjoyed each other's company. They ate. They left. They went home. Prior to the date, conversations were being had more frequent. They were talking, they were laughing, speaking with one another, enjoying each other's conversations. After the date, the young lady notices that the conversations are very short. He doesn't really have time. And so she kind of, asks him, she reaches out and asks, did I do something wrong? What's going on? Because I noticed you're not really short, but, you're really short with me. And he says, you know what, I'm about to hop in the shower. I'll hit you up when I get out the shower. So he texts her instead of calling, and he says the following. We'll use my name. I won't use hers. Neisha, you seem like an amazing woman, but I don't think we're compatible. You ate the whole damn salad, which is not ladylike. It makes me feel like you're greedy for food, and I need a woman who knows when to stop eating. I meal prep and go to the gym daily. I just feel like you'd be overweight in the near future. I still want to hang out, but that bothered me. I almost exploded. I love your vibe and energy, though. You're perfect. It's just that one thing. Plus, it was our first date. You was supposed to have butterflies and shit. How could you eat that much salad? Damn. And after that, he blocked her. So my question for this first part of the scenario, ladies, when we go out to dinner, are we not supposed to eat our whole salad while, getting to know one another? I'll start with you, Adrianne.
I think he's lucky that that's all I ordered was salad. And I am going to eat, I hope it was all I can eat salad. But yeah, I do tend to, on a first date, you do kind of keep it light. I'm you're not going to order ribs and stuff that's going to make you messy. You're going to try to, but a salad, and for him to say something about how much of the salad she ate, yeah, she need to leave him alone. He's a buster.
Mona?
Well, first of all, he said he was a fitness trainer. He says he meal preps. When I first heard of it, I laughed because that's something that I haven't heard in a very long time. There's a lot of things that have been lost within our culture. I don't even know if some of African American women have been privy to a thing called etiquette. My father sent me to charm and beauty school where you had to learn color coordination and how to walk. And I don't even know if a lot of you know about the yellow pages where they put the yellow pages on top of your head and you had to learn how to walk and balance that book. And if you weren't walking correctly, your instructor tapped you on your butt with a yardstick so you could walk like a lady, and the makeup and the how to stand and how to sit. And then there's something called etiquette school. And my father sent me to etiquette school where you learn to set a table, where you learn to distinguish a dinner fork from a salad fork, when you learn to, if you're eating pasta, that you use the spoon. You don't just start eating this, slurping up the spaghetti. You swirl it around in a little ball, and then you eat it. And your ladylike etiquette at the table. So, like I said, it was very funny because I had never heard it. And sometimes your teachings from your parents, you'd be like, oh, they doing too much. But it was my father who told me, whenever you're going out with a man, eat something light first. Yes. So that when you get there, you don't look greedy. Because you don't know if that man is looking at you as a potential wife. And he wants to know, like the post said, if you're greedy. If you're going to be a grocery asset or a grocery liability.
Exactly.
If you're going to be that same weight if he decides to have you as his wife.
Right.
And you're a stay-at-home wife or mother if you're going to turn into the Goodyear blimp. So, although it came off a little harsh,
Yeah.
a little tacky, no, you're not supposed to eat everything on your plate. Now, when you with your girls, you can pick out. We can order the appetizers, the main dish, the dessert. Sure. But in the company of a man, you are supposed to be dainty. You are supposed to take small bites. Yes. And my father said, bring home a doggy bag.
So I get that. I mean, usually when I go out to eat, I usually don't eat everything because I'm not really hungry. And by the time, usually I have a couple of glasses of water before we eat anyway, so there's that. But in this case, I'm just thinking, it was a salad, though. Like, if it was like the meal, the main course meal and everything, and she picked out, I might be like, okay, I see his concern, but it was a salad. Like, a salad.
Well, I have a personal funny story. I did date a fitness trainer before, and we had to work out before we had sex.
Okay.
The first time he took off his clothes, he was like, "You ready?" I was like, "Yeah." He took off his clothes. It was like, bow, right? Body was like a statue. Everything was in place. No tattoos. Smooth. And he was like, "Just look, now it's my turn to take off my clothes, And I don't have any kind of inhibitions, right?" And he looked. He said, "I see you be eating." Now, if I wouldn't have the warped sense of humor that I have, I probably would have got my feelings hurt. But every time we went to eat, we ate salad. And he ordered the salad flat. You know what a flat salad is? Okay, a flat salad, for people who may not know, is when you order a salad and everything has its own little compartment. And he would order that salad flat, and he would tell me, you can eat all of this, but eat a little bit of this. You can eat some of that. And he would monitor me. And so on the weeks that he thought that I was adhering to his diet plan, he would give me these nasty-ass granola bars.
Oh, wow.
And I don't like them. Those, I don't even want to know the name.
I like granola bars.
The real dry, crunchy ones that'll break your teeth.
Exactly.
I despise those granola bars. And I'm like, I want some chocolate because, I'm a chocoholic, right? And he was like, no, you can't do that. So finally, he let me have some chocolate. Now, the serving size on the chocolate might be 2 servings or 4 servings. Right? Normally, I'm eating the whole thing.
Yeah.
My nickname is Munchie. I don't have no food today, but I'm constantly eating, So he would give me a 1/4 of the candy bar, and I would be pissed off. So, but I saw the rewards on how my body was changing, so I wasn't a rebel. I kept on going. So one day he thought that I was doing good, and we would order some cheesecake. And he was like, "Mom, you want some cheesecake?" And I'm like, "Yes, right." He orders 1 slice of cheesecake, and he cuts it in half, and we share the cheesecake. And I'm like, "This is some BS." Right? So we've been going kind of hot and heavy, and we went to Dave & Buster's one night, and we ordered some food, and then he was like, "We're going to get some cheesecake," and I'm like, "Ooh." So we get this cheesecake, and he dips the fork in, he takes a couple of bites, and he says, I have to go to the restroom. And he goes, and he doubles back, and he says, "Mona, don't eat all that cheesecake, right?" I was like, "I'm not going to eat all the cheesecake." He went to the bathroom. I ate the whole cheesecake. So when he came back, he looked, he said, "Mona." And he just started laughing. But yeah, I appreciated him. And my body started banging. And the more I did the way he said do it, then he suggested outfits that he would like me to have on. And he took me shopping. So there are some rewards to, being ladylike, being dainty, eating small portions, you know, and taking food home.
So you know what's interesting though, because when I have conversations with a lot of men about first dates and how we are when we go out to eat, their main gripe that I hear usually is, every time I take a woman out to eat, all they want is a goddamn salad. That's all they want to eat is a salad. So this is the first time I'm hearing the opposite, where the man was like, yeah, I think you ate too much. You ate your whole salad. And it was like, huh. So some
I think
men...
he wants to know that you have some kind of control.
Yeah.
Behind your eating.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, which a gentleman would have explained that to her. Maybe he would have given her a second chance.
Yes.
You know, if you want to be with me, this is how I get down.
Yeah.
This is how I eat. You know, would you like me to show you? You know, give her that second chance.
I'm concerned about your health.
I'm concerned about your health. Because most people are not concerned about health. And we have an obesity problem in the African American community, which we're going to talk about, you know, somewhere in the future. So, yeah, I really didn't have a problem with the situation.
It's how sometimes it's how you say things. And he just kind of left her like hanging out there. Like, you know, she probably thought she was doing the right thing. Like you said, you have a salad, you think, okay, salad's light. I'm always concerned with salad. I'm going to get something in my teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I'm constantly, and then let me excuse myself so I can go to the restroom. I'm checking my teeth. But for him to come at her that way, it just seemed a little bit...
For a salad,
yeah,
like that just seems weird to me.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you little greedy pig.
Yeah, like I can see if it was
seen nothing.
it's just a salad, but I'm right.
Yeah, I would have some hot wings,
right,
cheeseburger, and give me a side order fries.
Like I could see that, but I'm just like, but I don't know. You know, to each his own.
But there was a lesson there.
Yeah,
you know.
And it's one way of weeding people out. If she does not fit your criteria, you've already let her know. Move on to the next one. Ain't no sense in wasting no more time.
Facts. Yeah. And now she knows when she talks to someone else.
Yes.
How you feel about a woman eating a salad, the whole salad on the first date? Does that scare you? Does that make you feel uncomfortable? Exactly. Or do you prefer her to eat just half of the salad and get a to-go bag for your salad? How do you feel about that? You know, it's interesting. So that's scenario one. Scenario two is we've also seen a few clips lately where women and men are going on first dates, you know, after having conversations. And when they get there, the man is expecting that, because I took you out on this first date, you're going to give me some... And if you decide, I'm not giving you that, I don't know you well enough, sir, we're supposed to just be having a date to get to know one another, the man is saying, well, you pay for your own meal. Sorry. And you got to find your way home. Sorry. So there have been a few studies of that. Ladies, I'll start with you, Adrianne. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, one of the scenarios that I just recently saw was this gentleman flew this young lady out. I think in your conversations...
No, flew out.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so I just think that, you know, in conversation, you can tell by in conversation in that right away, like, is it just about a coochie thing? Is it just about a whatever? And then I think you need to limit some of the stuff that you do on these first dates. Because some guys, their expectations are getting some. And I think if you're good at if you're really listening and paying attention to this gentleman's conversation, you're going to know what he's expecting. And I think you'll be able to move accordingly. At least that's how, I mean, I can tell, you know, especially if you're dating at an age of 50 plus, you kind of know what they're looking for. You kind of know just based on the conversation. Have you sent a couple of nudies to them, booty shots?
Before the first date?
Oh, I'm sorry. All my stuff lead to that right there. I'm sorry. But yeah, even on the first date, sometimes we're not wasting time at 50. We got one foot in the grave and one foot in the... I'm just saying.
Jeez.
I mean, I want my needs met, you know. I might flip the script on them and say, hey, what we doing? What we doing? We done ate. Now, come on. What we doing?
You go.
Well, clearly her first date is going to be it's going to be all right.
I want both my lips.
Adrianne's going to right. I want to eat here. You can eat here. And... Never mind. Okay.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you being transparent. Yeah. You ain't on trial. You all right.
You can tell. Like, to me, you know you hit it
How
out.
can you tell?
that they're going to tell you.
Before you go to your first date, how can you tell?
That
For
there's-
somebody that doesn't know.
Okay, so to me, it's certain things in conversation. If it's a very sexual conversation that you all have, like, are he speaking of his meat size and stuff like that, or if you're even sharing a little, oh yeah, I love to do, and if it gets sexual, you can almost expect that he's gonna want to get
Some
intimate.
pussy on
Yes,
the first date.
exactly. And I'm not saying that's a good thing to do, but I'm saying you can pretty much tell in conversation if that's what they're looking for on the first date.
Mona.
I don't agree.
Okay.
God, I'm different.
First of all, I think that dating in 2022 is becoming very disrespectful and very dangerous for women. There used to be a time where if a man asked you out on a date, and let's use dinner for an example, he was going to pay regardless if there was any sex involved, regardless if there was a kiss afterwards, regardless if you allowed him to come up for the evening. You know, they were gentlemen. They weren't worried about if I spend $50 on a meal that she gonna have to give me something in return. So we fast forward now, and we have these YouTubers saying that if you go out on after 5 p.m. that you should be, ready to give up some booty. You don't have to give up no booty until you want to give up some booty. The first date, you don't even know if you like this person, and I think that's where you start dealing with men versus males. You know, a man is not going to approach you in that type of way. There's always going to be some sexual tension, some sexual energy per se. There may be some chemistry that you discover while you're out on the date, because you probably wouldn't have gotten to the first date had that man not found you attractive in some type of way. But I think it's very disrespectful for you to invite me out on a date and then push the check and then ask me, so what are we doing afterwards? Or we can't go home, or I can't get no ass, so okay, here's the check and you're going to pay your half. That's disrespectful.
I agree.
So I'm in agreement. But then again, I've been raised with the mindset, you always keep money on you for just in case purposes. So if you know that you already know that if you're put in that situation, you can handle it. But I'm just trying to think, prior to getting to that first date, when you have those conversations, most of the time, I'm not a man, I don't have a penis, but I do know that after having conversations with a lot of them, sex is always going to be, at the top of their brain. Visual, they like what they see. They want it. That is one of the main goals when getting to know, the opposite sex. But I'm just thinking, should we be preparing ourselves before we get to that date, when getting to know one another on the phone? So when we have this first date, sex, no sex, so that there's no shocker when you go out, to dinner? Or do we just continue to try to get to know each other and not really speak on sex? Because some of these videos I've seen as of late, it's kind of like either the conversations were never had, or they just kind of were oblivious to the fact that this man was already letting you know, I'm going to take you out to this restaurant. I'm going to take you to this 5-star restaurant. But at the end of the date, I expect some of that other dessert at the end, after the date. So what do y'all think?
I think Adrianne really did touch on something important about the conversation. When you are having a conversation, whatever their main talking points are, it will basically tell you what they're about and how they feel about you. It's sad that we have to say, oh, sure, I'll go out on a date with you. Question, will you be requiring sex after the date? Because it's going to be disrespectful to men and not so disrespectful to males. So, yes, we are going to have those conversations beforehand.
Exactly.
Okay. Final thought? I'll start with you.
I just think it's so important to pay attention when you are when you're meeting people, especially via social media and these dating apps, and just pay attention to the language, the verbiage that's being used, so you already know, and you can say, okay, like he already trying to push up. Let me just, I'm not good. He may have a whole lot of other good qualities, but you can pretty much tell if his intention is just to get the draws.
Yeah.
So I think it's real important, young ladies, older ladies, you just pay attention to that. If you aren't, we're grown, you know, and if you be prepared either way, you know what I mean? If he does something ridiculous like that, will tell you well, you're going to have to pay. Okay, well, I'm going to pay my part. Deuces. I'm out of here. But pay attention. Pay close attention when you are meeting gentlemen and what their conversation is all about. It may be somebody you very well want to knock boots with. But if it's not, and you're trying to, move like a lady, just pay attention to that.
Mona?
I would say, since this is occurring right now, on the first date, drive your own self.
Mm-hmm.
Meet him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so then bring your own money. Try to find out what restaurant he's bringing you to. Because some men, if you go over $30, you have to pay the extra.
That's a salad. That's a salad right there.
No, a lot of people are being led by social media and the things that are done on social media that they think are cute or some kind of way of getting a woman back. So, and then there are some females out here that want to go to a restaurant and charge $600 for the first date. So, see if you can find out the location of the date. Google is your friend. Look up the menu. Try to figure out in your mind what you want to eat, and if it's whatever the price is, make sure you have that with you.
There you go.
And then if he does decide to act a fool and say no booty, no pay, then be prepared to pay your own way or pay for your meal and never speak to him again in life. That's my final thought.
Okay. So for me, I would just say, I think, how, as we always talk about, communication is key. Pay attention to the conversations that you have prior to the date. I like to kind of know what I'm expecting before I get to that point. Yes, attraction is very important, and it's nice to know that it's mutual on both sides, but I'm not trying to sleep with you on the first date because I still don't know you. So I'm not expecting you to spend $1,000 on me over dinner to see if I'm, potential. At the same time, if you know that you're really not attracted to said individual, don't waste his time because you know that that's what he's looking for. A lot of the men that, some people deem unattractive now, you're not able to play them as you used to anymore because they're waking up and they're being coached and they're being taught on these social media streets. Don't spend all your money on somebody that don't even want you. They're playing you. So that getting a free meal, just to talk to somebody that normally you wouldn't talk to is not working anymore. And you need to be specific about your intentions and hear what his intentions are up front too. Because if you know that sex is not on the table, especially not on the first date, you don't want to waste his time and you don't want to waste your time.
Exactly.
Also, like Mona and Adrianne said, you should definitely have your backup plans. I would drive myself and meet you there. I also would make sure I have money available so that I can afford to pay for my own meals. And depending on my mood, in that moment, I might be bold enough to just be like, you know what, this is a first and last time situation, and I'll pay the whole bill just to be done with it.
Shit.
That again, it depends on my it depends on my mood, just to prove that I'm not that chick.
Girl.
You know what I'm saying? But I like to have conversations prior to. I like to discuss different scenarios prior to, getting to know one another. I usually meet men in person instead of on apps because that shit is scary. And so I like to go places where it's not super expensive up top. So if I were you, I would start with that too, just so that you don't put yourself in a compromising position. Because even one of the scenarios that we saw, a young lady, she met the guy on an app, they decided that they would meet up for dinner. She paid for his Uber, you know, and when they got there and it came to the food, because he was supposed to pay, she paid for his Uber. He was supposed to pay.
Him $20.
Yeah, he was supposed to pay for the food. Once he realized he was not getting, you know, her, he told her she can bounce, and she had to pay for, you know, everything, and she didn't have the funds. So, you know, she went live to talk about it, to shame him into it, but he didn't care. He was just like, nah. Are you going to give me some, his words, you going to give me some ass? No? Well, then you pay for it. You know,
you walk home.
And and you got to walk home. So, you know, protect yourself and move different, and make sure you ask the right questions and be ready, so you don't have to pick up your phone and go live. You could just, you know, you already, you know, have an idea of what you're expecting. And that's my final thought.
Let me just add one more thing, because you kind of touched on it. We understand that men are getting bamboozled out here too, and they're starting to use precaution, because there are certain groups of females that will use you for a dinner date. So we understand that, but let's play grown up, shall we, and treat each other accordingly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So this is BGP, and we are out.
Peace.
Bye.